Her name is Tina. The music is repetitive. Whew. Thanks, everybody. That's club noise. Let's all go to club noise.
Club noise.
This is called the Tinder date from hell. Haven't we all had one of those? Now, I'll never be sure what possessed me to swipe to the right when I should have known better. As I'm not really into the arrogant type, and his smile looked cheesy as cheddar. Like a fool, I agreed to a time and a place for a date with this obvious winner. And I reasoned aloud as I put on my face. Well, at least it'll be a free dinner. So I Ubered across to the far end of town to a dingy and dark taqueria. Standing close by the door was a gal in a gown, and she curtsied and said, "Call me Tina." She escorted me back and she pulled out my seat while my date was just sitting there smoking. But he offered apologies then for the heat. Lo siento. The AC is broken. As I sat at the table, I started to sweat, so I made a fan out of my menu. And I noticed a sinister marionette keeping watch from the wall of this venue. "Have a drink," said my date as he reached for the jug with his eyes nearly red as the vino. "Oh, terrific, sangria," I said with a shrug. I would usually stick with a Pinot. And there came to the table a man in a vest, our mesero, who called himself Pablo, whom my date disregarded as one would a pest as he ordered the shrimp al diablo. While we waited, I sneered at his ratty goatee. It looked harsh as a blackberry thicket. And I scoffed when he pulled out a skeleton key, which he scratched on a lottery ticket. "Oh, for Christ's sakes, I'm leaving," I spat in a huff as I reached for my purse and my jacket. But he lunged and he snatched me and handled me rough, so I screamed up a deafening racket, but Miss Tia and Pablo did not run to help. They just stood by the door at the ready. And that marionette came alive with a yelp. It was dancing and flinging confetti. "Please don't go," begged my date with a hideous hiss as his skin turned to scaly and thorny. He was flicking his tongue as he went for a kiss. See, my date, he was actually horny. Thanks for listening, everybody. Tune in next time for another show. Don't forget to come to my show September 15th at the Lost Church. Please,
and he also hosts Friday nights. They have the International Hate and Masonic, right? No, Hate and what? Hate and Fillmore. There you go. Thank you. I was trying to remember all that.
Where you got me located today?
You're the
Yeah, the mini.
So you're
the Mickey?
I'll put it up at City Life.
All right. Let me get my glasses.
I'd like to say,
My time is up. All right.
well, that's always a hard act to follow, Mr. Clyde always is. Give me another round because that way I can distract myself from what I need to do. All right. I'm going to do something that's slightly humorous to segue to something that's not so humorous. And George Zimmerman is an inspiring individual, and he inspired this take on the Christmas carol, "Oh Christmas Tree." You know the song, "Oh Christmas Tree." Okay. Yes. So I decided to rewrite it in the light of his most recent attempt at fame and fortune. Oh, Zimmerman, George Zimmerman, oh, Georgie, you're a rump head. You killed and you have fame, that's true. You beat your wife, but refused to cure. Oh, Zimmerman, George Zimmerman, you really are wad and lied, you know, then blabbed on Fox's talk show. Oh, Zimmerman, George Zimmerman, you really are an Amos. A star at redneck trade gun shows. You wrote a book that really blows. Oh, Zimmerman, George Zimmerman, you really are so famous. And now you've got an idea grand to auction that gun. What a plan. Oh, Zimmerman, George Zimmerman, you really are an anus. Who will buy it? I want to know. Would it be Trump or Idaho? Oh, Zimmerman, you are a famous anus. I had to do something like that to transition from that. All right, so going to optimism here. That's not what I want.
No, that's just. Where is it? Where is that one? Ah, nope. Yeah.
So Carlos Ramirez, right there, inspired this poem directly and indirectly. Worlds for Carlos. Oh, my friends, there are worlds, and good ones, beautiful worlds so wondrous and full of marvels as to make one weep. There are worlds where peace is all there is, and nature is let to run rampant. The verge is rank with skies and seas full of life. Animals who see your soul's light with hearts innocent of fear or rage. There are worlds gowned in clouds of delight, graced with rivers of love where ranges upon ranges of emotional peace rest under the glowing countenance of their moons, dancing in firmament. Worlds such as songs are made of, as epic poems might suit, where painters upon an overlook can gaze at a life's work set before them. Where God is happy. Life came, and where we'd all be glad to be if we were there instead of where we are, dazed and confused by our own earthly illusions. I say forsake, fight, and flight, let go of want, our past, histories of unending sorrows, poor reasoning, and martial drums. For there are worlds, this poor scribbler asserts, no artist could hope to convey without a proper preparation, a long, restful life of enjoyment, a million-year picnic. Then they could provide a semblance of one such world. So I tell you, this is a magnificent universe, well made, and fit for who but us, or those of our kind. It is like that mystical Ganges with its endless beaches, where each glowing sand grain is a full repository of galaxies strung like beads set in a glowing firmament of stardust. So there are worlds, and then there's us, and our longing, our song, so profoundly deep and unending that even this grand universe and all of its works couldn't possibly contain it. Or so I feel. Or so I feel. Thank you.
Okay, so we have reached a point where we have lots of people here. So what I'm going to do is make adjustments to my own things here. Thank you, Clyde. Thank you, Dan. Oh, that was me. Oh, and Uncle, come on up. And then Richard. And then did Charlie? Charlie's not here yet, right? I don't see him. So then what we'll do is adjust as a case by case basis, as a need by need basis. And could you hand this over to Yasmin over there? She needs to. Thank you. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but I had to.
Thank you. Can everybody hear me?
Yes.
poem called Cinco de Mayo. An electric whale sighs through the wall. Triumphant pizzicato travels like a snake along the traffic, parks up to the quiet ghost of a different muse. Cupid's lips arise to the dance of flashing flamenco heels. Shout ole, senors y senoritas, in the smoky quiet of the lateness of the afternoon, of the torpid sullen flamenca, passing into the lateness of the cobra-like coilings, into the suffering evening. Senoritas, throw a rose from your lace mantilla to the cold gaze of the matador. Muleta poised under his chin in the hot afternoon bow ring, bowing and scraping for a kill. The voice of the flowers. The voice of the flowers that knew many, likable to the slow crawling of the vivid ivied vines, just like the quiet varicose veins, quiet now for many centuries. The old chill of the cold rain of so many January winters. Flowers with their small voices cry out this year as they have cried out years and years before. The cold sky carves an isthmus of blue, a dashing wide swath through, the colors of the flag wrapped around the cold leaves of our evening.
Oh, wow.
Hidden dreams. Sleep, night of softness of the clouds, O Regina of the world of words, apart from the choking industrial sun of every day, marking time, hanging on to a bus strap. Walk for me, away from me, O voyeur of empty space, a shower of arrows from my Lilliputian blondness. As my hair of my blunders is tied down to their hogsheads, step to the usual, to the everyday, my mind eye, a dark invisible Gulliver, taking a giant step to nowhere, tracing my mind to a lofty invisible cobweb dandling down, its space leading to infinity. Sonnet, Sunday 7. It was in and out of our time. I jumped from the train. Another Sunday. Rain made my eyes poor. Speak of mine to the sun-filled chimes, an hour or so to gain, of drinking again in Spain. Climbing up gargoyles to sublime excesses of the cap and bells. Gaudium Igitur, all sing to the sea. We wait for ants to cast their spells here and there. Leaves of green pea stare upward with eyes of stars, as half-mad tenants pour from bars. Sonnet, Sunday 7. I am between a vague promise to the park of trees and paths, out of the reach of the wrath of Muse Calliope, sharper demises, to dog-eared flowers and surmises of her pappy vanity that hath more thorns and thistles than math. Than love I love that has more surprises than a beautiful girl who has written to her love-proud verses charging across the page. She is smitten with rage and grief, curses trying to please God's crumpet. Fair princess, fair maiden, thou strumpet.
Thank you, Owen. We got time now.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, Owen. Give me a nice round. All right, pending further arrangements and infundibula of note and merit, we're going to have Richard Sanderell, and then, depending on how things go, we'll have other people before Charlie coming up, or since he isn't here yet, and I did hear from him, so he should be, but, you know, who knows. So, Richard Sanderell will kindly come and take the mic, please, but not damage it. Give him a round as he comes up here, please. Come on, a round of applause. Man's a poet. Thank you.
I want to thank everybody for coming out tonight. Looks like we got a pretty good house tonight.
Yes, we do.
And I wasn't trying to make fun of a dying man over there. I have to take my asthma stuff too, so I made a Hillary Clinton joke. Anyway, I just want to say that somebody we know here forgot to toot their own horn, like always. There's a program or a thing he's going to be at on Thursday, September 15th.
Yeah.
Annie Manana, who I can vouch for, is a great guitar singer. And Michelle, I know who that should be.
You remember Michelle, right?
Name comes to me.
Hip-hop artist?
Oh, yeah, okay. So, yeah, it's going to be at the, what is it?
Lost Church?
Lost Church. Anybody been there yet? Well, it sounds like it's a new place. It's, what's that? Lost Church at 65 Cap. So everybody check that out. It's a new place, new venue. And so on. All right, first one I'm going to read is an old one, and then I'm going to read some new ones. This is called The Beauty Lost to be Regained. I stood on the wet streets of San Francisco, streets, sidewalks, slick, sanitized, clean, all gussied up, pretty. City has its makeup on, a while since it had her sheen, her lights alive on skins of snakes, electric snakes, moving, undulating, can be fun. Elders first see San Francisco at night in the late 40s, weeps at the beauty, seeing lights that twinkle, bordered with darkness of the bay. The city charm seduces one away from the road one is on. This is the end game, the place you may have come for. Stay, take her in, but learn her secrets. San Francisco is home for some, carnival to others, as well as carnivores, not just of the flesh, but of the souls as well. Built on the shells of mounds of the graves of the Ohlone, her past is soiled, sullied. It is the unseen she doesn't want you to see or know. It is their stories that you should want to hear. Even beauty has its ugly side.
Maybe I'm ugly side.
I see their notebooks. As I wait, I see writers' notebooks closed, waiting for words from writers' lips. I stare at these notes between covers. I imagine content. As I wait, what feelings will words raise in me? Will I want to get up and dance, whoop, holler, run from, find pleasure, revulsion, joy, ecstasy in words? As I wait, will I be told truth, lies to tell truth, or just out and out lies, fantasy or reality? As I wait, even waiting passes. I learn the pulse of the writer's moods at this place and time. As I wait, it is my time for the writers, poets, musicians to take my pulse. Is he still alive?
Yeah.
And the last is called Summit Beyond the Two-Legged. Strut and the band, where the singer gets all the press, besides the name. The Strut, King, Queen, Coyote, and the Strutters band, or Ki Kwai Koi and the Strutters, known as the first interspecies rock, blues, fusion, hip-hop band. Their rehearsals go well. They just fit. They fell into a George Clinton, Tom Waits, Frank Zappa groove with a little bit of Freddie King for gravitas, Digicable Planets for flavor. There's a rumor Dr. John would like to join them from time to time, though this has not been confirmed. Meanwhile, Coyote decides to test the elders, writers, poets, musicians. So he checks sacred grounds one evening, listens. Some heard before, others knew. Coyote waits till all leave. He begins to run down haze. Coyote tests to see if someone tries to cage him. Instead, Coyote saw them cheering him on. Rumor has it, Coyote, crawling king snake and strut, wants to meet with the poets, writers, and musicians for a summit that they seem, and these seem like likely contenders. Coyote came back 2 weeks later, heard a poet, writer tell the story of Coyote, and all were pleased, as is Coyote. He believes he has found part of this core group. He returns to Cassandra and Pups, calls the band together, begins plans, letting Coyote's presence known to the rest of the poets. This summit to decide how to raise solidarity. Midwives called. She is born in complete solidarity. We now need to make sure that the village is safe for her. She will be not coming back again. The mother is about to spank us.
Bang!
Yeah.
Richard Sanderell. All right, we're gonna now. This is Charlie Getter. He's here, so give him a round of applause because he's here right now. We got
Yeah, I made it. I'm still wearing my work clothes.
Still in his work clothes. Or his, well, never mind. So we're going to take care of, we're going to have Buford come up, and then Audrey, before we have Charlie come up so he can get his breath, take a rest, and pass me the flask underneath the, no, I don't have one. So Buford is next. Give him a nice round of applause. And we have Audrey, Buford Bunton, ladies and gentlemen. In the house, as they say.
In the house. All right. Brother Clyde's wonderful invitations is not the theme's kindergarten, right?
Yes.
Okay, the name of this poem is Kindergarten.
Ah.
I was a kindergarten aide at Pacific Oaks Children's School in Pasadena, California from 1989 to 1990. Wow. My ex-wife Karen got a librarian's job there, and I was hired as the aide. In those days, Karen and I were tinkers and took off usually after about a year from jobs. This time to the Los Angeles County Library in Lancaster, California, the high desert, and I to the Lancaster Public Library. But before all that happened, there was Pacific Oaks. The lead teacher was about 6 feet tall and drank coffee in the house at the front of the yard. The kids were sometimes a little sarcastic or nervous. The most sarcastic kid was a doctor's son, and the most nervous was an actor's son. The kid who was the funniest came from a man who had a paint empire. I got tired of doing most of the work as an assistant teacher for a quarter of the money of the head teacher, who was more fond of drinking coffee than working with the kids. I actually liked the little spoiled rich kids.
Yeah, with a little salt and pepper and butter sauce.
Yeah, that tasted good. No.
Yeah, well,
You said that. I shouldn't say that.
I won't say it again.
Okay.
Don't quote me.
The weather's too hot. For all you people who are always too cold in San Francisco, congratulations. But the weather's too hot for me.
Oh, you're kidding. Seriously?
Yeah, it's too hot. I know you're from India. It would have to get a heck of a lot hotter to be too hot for you. All right, let me. Well, I got a little time left, don't I?
Yeah, you got a couple, 3 minutes here. We're
Okay.
talking.
Sure.
And then we got Audrey coming up.
This is about my kids now. Now I work with developmentally disabled football players.
This is called Children. No, you think I'm kidding? I'm not kidding. This is and I should identify the high school now that I said that, but here it is. Children are actually adolescents. The kids are big football players with big emotions, sometimes looking depressed. One 200-pounder really glum. The running back with the braces forces a smile and peruses his cell phone like he probably should his studies. All right.
Yeah, baby.
Let me do one more.
There we go.
This is about my favorite fellow teacher, Mr. M. Mr. M is a red-headed fellow, by his own admission, 42 years old, and looks about that. Having a 43-year-old daughter myself, he treats me with the respect of an elder and, in general, treats our special ed students with respect as well as expecting that respect back. He is explanatory without being judgmental, has 2 teenage stepchildren, and seems to understand the adolescent mind. When I told him a student bumped into me, I believe on purpose, he stayed calm. Seems like a pro.
Yeah, bud.
He is a pro. Thank you, Buford. And now we have the honor and privilege to welcome someone who is absolutely new here. So let's do the traditional greeting, please. Come on, you people out. Let's snap it up out there. Jeez Louise. Someone comes up here, and this is Audrey, right? Did I say it right?
Yes.
Audrey.
I mean, he told me that there would be hooplas, so I'm impressed.
Well, we could have done it better, but we didn't want to scare you.
I think it was adequate.
Okay.
I think you guys, great amount of hoopla.
All right.
This poem is called Leviticus. Like the words flickering in the embers of Leviticus, the molten gods found home with me. Iniquity and beauty had their turns with me and found hope in the hands of strangers, feeding us by bread and wine and nothing more of wages. We wrote promises on paper and burned them. We said we ran because hell was chasing us, because understanding and conceiving lay deep between our sheets, and you can't run from something if it breathes beneath you. I promised to look past the moon and look to Venus, prolonging my old dreams of somehow breaking out of poorly sewn seams, but it seems to me easy for those that give hardship to those looking past harbors, only desiring to take on the sea. And I lay content in my fire, hoping just to find friends to keep, not for the kinship, but to inquire for relief.
Yeah, bud.
So I moved and found this very old poem that I wrote when I was still in high school. It's called Salinas. On Monterey's coast of blue, the sadness of two brothers true, came once the field where rabbits run, and slowly came the smoking gun. Dusty paths lead to the farm, where man and field are joined at arm. When brother mighty fell to wrong, brother small sing sweetly songs. Of mice of Mary to once be theirs, brother small began his prayers. Father, bring this son to place, I only hope I'll find my grace. But sadness flees, for when right sings, the truth be told, his hands were rings. Each touch a dumbfound dagger be, brother small knew what to be.
Lyric poetry. Who was it?
Do I have time for a short one?
Yeah, you have a short one, yeah.
This poem is called War. Aloft the darkened wind proclaimed a fire, and flood to break sound of drains where once the king of thieves to lift each mind to rob, army brace the jeweled blind, but then the dirt to break the sour stench, when shells scream, break for leave for men of flesh and bone, whence jungle fix the empty soul of bleak legs, render merry fights and holy freaks, demise when children close their saddened eyes, a coward with these upright tales of laws, to surely kill the rested jaw, from breaks to merry such melody stalk, the prey to sing each fang of sharp persuasion, filling smaller days to dark. Thank you.
Thank you, Audrey. Audrey Howitt. Thank you. And now, per Charlie's request, he wants to have an acquaintance of his come up here. Who now? Audrey, you gave us, now we know the routine. This is a new person, but let's really cheer it up. Let's go. Let's give this guy Max, right? Max Blue. Max Blue. Yeah, buddy.
Thanks, though.
Thank you.
Hey, Max. Sometimes when I say poems, I also go by the name Boy Blue. But I'm going to do a couple poems. They're a little different from each other. This is a newer poem. It's called Seeing You Again. It's about no one in particular. Seeing you again gives me chills, like the ones that come every 2 weeks when the barber evens out my hairline with the smallest clippers. I get my hair cut every paycheck. I get a paycheck every 2 weeks. A haircut is like groceries, toilet paper, soap, maintenance of the most mundane, only really noticeable in its absence. For example, you've grown your hair out, you look hungry, you know you haven't any toilet paper left, etc. Seeing you again is completely out of the ordinary, a supreme disruption, massive chills up and down my spine. I look forward to the chills I get from the clippers on my neck and relish them when they come. I do not look forward to seeing you again. And perhaps I never will. For now, seeing you again is just an absent-minded musing that overcomes me as I sit in the barber's chair watching people pass in the window as she evens out my neckline with the smallest clippers. Thanks, guys. 2 more short ones if I have time for that. This one's called Rose Gold. We're all a bit broken, chipped, and cracked, collecting bricks to fill the gaps, and someday we will stay young forever on the way towards growing old. When roses crack the concrete, the whole world will turn to gold. Flowers sprung up in our footsteps on the way to wash our souls, still wondering the reasons for each and every word we wrote, but the seasons still are changing, even in the face of growing cold. No, I am not the first to notice the beauty in the storm, but it will blow above us, and new beauty will be born. We'll no longer need to lay down floorboards. We'll no longer need a home when we find it in each other, when we are not alone. When roses crack the concrete, the whole world will turn to gold.
Right. Yeah, buddy.
Thanks. This is really new. It doesn't have a name yet. If we find ourselves, the search is over, so let's just find each other and do our best to stick together. My darling, there may be no forever, but I can promise you the present. I'll buy you bouquets of flowers and you can toss them in the gutter as long as you hold me tight. I'll hold you tight and we'll head on together. We are homes. Each and every body and soul is a monument to love, and we have all failed to love someone. But that is just a reminder that we must. So if home is where the heart is, then my heart, home, is spread thin. It is 1,000,000 miles apart, from window pane mother to father's frame, with love letters for wallpaper sent to several states. I left the foundation in my grandma's grave, so I keep the roof above my own head. For the days of rain, and on the days away, I am the ghost in my own windows. the footsteps in the attic, dilapidated and pathetic, apologetic for having always been your absence. Sister, do not grow up with no one. Brother, do not be the reason she must. You are a building too big for just a single set of hands to hold aloft. Thanks.
Yeah, bud.
All right, Max Blue.
Yeah, I'll go whatever you want me to do.
I'm just going to go up and introduce you if possible.
That way I don't have to move the microphone too much. All right. You know, describing this individual here, like whenever I have a feature of this, I always say it's my favorite part of the evening because I get to brag on somebody in public. Well, the man is not describable in a lot of ways. I mean, he's a poet, he's a performer. He and his cohorts established the 16th Mission Thursday night poetry, amazing circus event, incredible, ongoing. And how many years?
13 years.
13 years. He's been there, and you know, you go there, jump in the circle, read, say what you got to do, and then someone else comes in, and he goes on and on and on, and it goes all the way from about like 9:30 to midnight or whenever, however.
Poetry 9:30, which is like after 10.
Yeah. Okay. So that, and he has books, and he has publishings, and he has connections, and he has community, and he has this poem about, thank you. He has a poem about like landlocked places, and that one about the sticker on the ticker, and just all kinds of things.
Don't go to Oregon.
Huh?
Don't go to Oregon.
Don't go to Oregon. And so, a lot of things, and I'm so glad to have him here. Give this guy a rousing round of applause. Charlie Genner, come in.
Thanks, and
wait a minute.
This.
I'm so glad to be that so many people were here for the instantaneous fill-in, because somebody else was supposed to be here tonight, and they bailed.
They did bail.
They bailed, and Dan's like, "Do you want to do it?" I was like, "Fuck yeah." That's what I said.
Yeah.
You know, it's great. I was sitting there next to Dan watching everybody on the videotape. You're so photogenic, Buford.
Oh, really? You look really good, baby. I was like, that was totally awesome. He and I went to school together.
We went to this school called New College of California that doesn't exist anymore. It's totally gone. Yeah, it was a good idea. Proof that hippies shouldn't run things. We love hippies, but they just didn't do a very good job. Just right into the ground. It totally broke all our hearts. I was much walking down the street, and I was the weekend AV guy. So that was my work study. Was like I'd plug in a video projector, and then I'd go have drinks. That was my whole day. I'd go and have cocktails, and then I'd come back at lunch, and then I'd plug in another video projector, and then go have more cocktails. I worked hard. So, but yeah, one of the teachers, I remember after New College was gone, was walking down the street, and I was walking down the street, and we hadn't seen each other since New College closed. It was like a year later. And, she's like a block away, and I'm like a block away, and we both start crying. We just look at each other, and she's just bawling her eyes out when she saw me. She was like, "You're the drunk guy who plugs in my video projector." And I was like, "I know, I want to be that drunk guy." So I don't know. Yeah, I got no more banter.
I'm not good at banter anyway. We do every Thursday night, 10-ish to midnight-ish.
Yeah.
We always run late. We always start hella late. That's how
Make sure you got a voice.
You gotta be loud, but people are kind of respectful, unless they're not. When they're not, it can be total chaos. We always joke about sometimes we look into the abyss, sometimes the abyss looks back, and so we've had a lot of corners where the abyss has been looking right back.
I remember when he had hair.
I remember when he had hair too. I didn't even recognize you. Actually, Max has heard every one of the poems I'm going to do tonight except one.
Yes.
Because he and I did a show for the Beatnik Shindig where pretty much it was like we ran the open mic and people really didn't show up for our little room. So it was pretty much just Max and I doing poems back and forth to each other. Except when Stolmar came up, so it was just Max, Stolmar, and I just doing poems. And
I think I did every poem I had written up to the point.
Maybe twice. We did have to repeat a few. It was like a 6-hour show, yeah. So, hi. Let's try something we haven't done in a long time. And then I'm going to talk about this in a second too, because I got stuff. In the valleys of the sun, there are no long shadows in the afternoon because, well, you're on the sun. How do you tell time on the sun? Can you? When you look up, can you see the stars? Or is it just too bright? Too bright? It's a given you can't look down because you shouldn't stare at the sun. If you find yourself in a valley of the sun, for most of the horizon, it's difficult to look up. And it's hot. Yes, it's that. But really, if you can't handle the hot, you shouldn't be on the sun. But under bright lights is now where the world is at. In the light, in the bright, all of the time. We live on the sun, and our shoes are melting, and our eyes are squinting. I have allergies, and had a giant booger mostly in my nose. I looked around and ducked down an alley and plucked it out, looking up to see a security camera looking down at me. Is there some tag or something that is now broadcasting this? Is there a secret picker video? Will people comment on my picking style, on my choice of fingernail, little finger, left hand? Am I now an international nose picker? Has my booger gone viral? Will or do people of the street give me that faint? Wait, do I know that guy? Look, people don't live on mountains, probably even on the sun. Goats live on mountains, but really only mountain goats. But people, us people, we live in valleys, or on plains, or coasts. I met a Dutch girl tonight that works under the Matterhorn. She didn't live on the Matterhorn. She lived in the valley beneath. She has peaks, she has valleys. Some choose peaks, some choose valleys. On the sun, there must be valleys, and maybe societies. Math has invented dimensions we don't understand. And the problem with math, when it does that, is eventually we find a million little things that make the universe even more incomprehensible. So trust me when I say there are valleys on the sun. But believe me when I say what kind of context they exist in, I don't understand. But still believe me when I say that we live on the sun. And we have peaks because we always have to climb. And we have valleys that in truth probably resemble more the valleys of the sun than that idyllic Swiss valley under the Matterhorn. And now, when we traverse that valley, anyone can see because it's all so bright. And I try to process your fear, and I try to empathize with your heartbreak, but I can't understand. I was born on Pluto, which isn't even the planet it was before. And going from there to here has worn out a lot of shoes. But that journey has given me time to acclimate, but imperfectly. So the heat, I can handle. The light, I'm still working on that. All those things that become are made in the sun. And much smarter people than I can tell you what physics can do when it has the chance to. But there's a who here that will tell you, dear, that there is so much that we don't know. And that makes all these pursuits worthwhile. Even though tomorrow we'll still know we'll be wrong. There's a value in that. And even more, a joy. Because tomorrow's truths are not a gift given us. All we have is today. The world is full of landlocked places, places where the ocean can't get to. The ocean with its power and its waves and its dominance. Dominance across the wide face of this world. Hundreds of thousands of miles of pure power. Splitting the world from its wealth. With its grandeur and its arrogance, landlocked places don't see that ocean that tells us we ain't so bad. And the world is full of landlocked places, and landlocked places are hell. I've been to Switzerland. And Switzerland is landlocked. And Switzerland is hell. I've never been to Bolivia. But Bolivia is a landlocked place, So Bolivia must be hell. The first tweakers came from Bolivia, and they chewed leaves, and they stayed up all night, and their tents were really clean. But they didn't care, because they knew they lived in a landlocked place. And the same with all landlocked places, it was hell. Kansas was never the answer to anything, not even for Dorothy. It's black and it's white. There's no cowardly line to protect you. Switzerland is not my kind of answer. Written across the sky by a smoky plane. For one thing, it's almost impossible to spell. And a spell is what I'm under. And this really hasn't happened to me for a very long time. Because poetry is an affliction. And if it isn't, then you shouldn't do it. And the afflicted gather in every corner of the world. And those who got it bad, those who got it real bad, they know who they are. We know who we are. We know each other, and we need each other, and I'm just a rambling fool who knows where the land ends and the ocean begins, and it sure as hell don't in Kansas, because landlocked places are hell. And I can see the sky clear as I pull my Geo Metro away from the coast, through the mountains, through the deserts, and over more mountains, to where the flat land rushes to meet the overarching sky, and the wind blows. And it sometimes drops houses on witches. And it sometimes holds mysteries that a couple of meaningless hours, within far too many worthless days, did far too little to illuminate. Because Kansas isn't the answer. Neither is any where. It's a different interrogative. And San Francisco can slowly sink below the horizon, and I will only watch as the waves play on the sand, and my dog chases birds. And she said, "Frack you." And the horse you rode in on. And all I can say is, it's okay if you don't like me. But let's leave the horse out of this, okay? He may not be the best horse, but still, that's cold. That's so cold. That reminds me of rule number 1. Rule number 1. Always wear a warm coat, because the world is cold. It might be summer, but bummer, the world is still cold. Rule number 2. Don't walk around with a gun, because you'll shoot someone, or someone's horse, but probably yourself, but maybe someone else, and you'll think they deserve it. But odds are that they don't. Unless you shoot yourself, then of course they do. Rule number 3. Watch your mouth, because in truth, only bad people or horses say what they think. Good people or horses say what they have to say. I say what I think. My horse, you'd have to ask him. Bad people also make lists of things other people should do. So don't do that. If you're counting, that's rule number 4. I ride a horse called Hypocrisy, and he eats all my wild oats, and I've thought through every possible scenario, and I'm here to say, we're screwed. I want to take a moment of your time, a moment more than the one I took before. I carry a garbage can for that purpose, and I'm filled with so many moments. I can live 7 more lives as long as I spend them in that can. Part of me smiles manically at other people. The other part of me is embarrassed by my face. Part of me might be brave, but generally I listen to the other part. Part of me talks about myself like that's somehow relevant or important. The better part of me talks about my horse. My horse Hypocrisy likes to drink and gets mad at drunks, especially when he's drunk. And damn, he's drunk a lot. My horse thinks he's pretty smart. He does everything wrong every time, an exquisite social failure, but yeah, he's smart-ish, I guess. My horse learned how to walk backwards. So now that's pretty much his only direction. Bulk, bilk, bulk, bilk, bulk, built, always back against the traffic, and people blow their horns at him. But you don't need blinders not to see. He just leads with his ass. And you think that might be awkward or rare, but you should know. It is awkward. My other horse is a press paranoid, and he's not all that special. Everyone's got one of those. But he's even more difficult to ride. Because he's both oppressed and paranoid, he's got two asses pointing out either end. And he tends to kick at everything he hasn't already shit all over. Hypocrisy whinnies at me. Hey, Charlie, says he. Let's black through everything blissfully. And I put on my stretchy pants and crazy silk vest and little black helmet and climb aboard as we back through the world. Poke, bilk, poke, bilk, poke, bilk. And it really feels like we're getting somewhere. We got a long list. We don't have much time.
Yeah, you got about, you're in the 8-ish category.
Okay. I got a little bit of time.
Right,
We're going to go fast anyway. We never use all the time anymore. Use all the what? The book comes out on the 25th. Haven't put a facey bookie out or anything. We haven't told anybody that it exists.
You told us.
Except I just told everybody. So you guys all know. Book comes out on the 25th.
And it's called How to Arrange Geography and Physics to Your Advantage. So it's kind of a how-to book. Ish. And then I had a whole segue to do another poem. I can't think what it is.
You know, on that note, then let's read one out of a book. Because there is one I haven't read in a very long time. And I've always loved it because it talks about cooking and...
Is this the salad one?
No.
Okay, just check.
And in fact, we're not even going to do that one. We're going to do this one instead. Liner notes for this. A friend of mine sent me a picture. And this is written to that picture, but I'm not going to tell you what the picture's about, and I'm not going to tell you anything. It's just based on a picture. Always buy a lottery ticket. And don't think that you're going to win. You're not going to win. Nobody wins the lottery. It's fixed. And the smiling faces of the people who win, they're plants hired by the company that advertises for the lottery. Buy a ticket anyway. And keep it in your pocket. And look at it. And for however much it is for, spend it in your mind. Make a budget. Give a chunk to charity. And rebuild your house so there's a basketball court inside. And all those people who you like can live there, but downstairs so you don't have to see them all the time. You have to make a budget. You have to be ready. The stories of the people who win the lottery are so sad. They end up strung out, divorced, dead in a doorway, their eyes sad and their pockets empty. No, you won't win, but buy the ticket. Dream of that place, which may not be all it's cracked up to be. People born rich often can't handle it because they miss what's important. Know what's important. And that's hope. And if your ticket's in your pocket, you have hope. And you can't buy hope unless you spend $2 and take a chance. But every day is a lottery, and almost every day you lose. But sometimes it's not that the rocks aren't pretty, he told me. The gorgeous are gorgeous. But what it is the space. The space between you and the rocks. When you live in a small room, there are no small elephants. They take up all the space. Even if they're well behaved. And I remember thinking, because I used to do that if we could get this guy out, he would leave us be. I can make a trail of peanuts, and he would give us peace. But elephants never forget, and they don't fit through 8x4 doors. And we don't talk about the elephant, because we practice elision. Look at the sky, delete. Look at the sun, delete. I can replace the human race with a dog. I can replace the human race with a ficus. I can trade mankind for a rug doctor and steam clean humanity away. Let's see my room today. Everything folded and put away. Nobody believes it. Nobody's allowed to see it because everybody delete. Dinner table, 1 seat. I'm making a roast in the oven. I've marinated for hours. And slice carnivorous goodies from what was once a cow, and drop the drippings onto the roasted potatoes and asparagus spears, and placidly, carefully consume them in the kitchen, and nothing needs to happen. No one needs to know. I'm feasting alone. I'm supposed to need you. I'm supposed to need people, but I have a dog, and I have a ficus, and that Safeway will rent me a rug doctor, and I can steam clean away need. People are people, and people are needy. Why be like them? Maybe we could be better. Maybe you're not included in this we. Maybe this we is now just me. And obviously I need nothing, which is why I write this for everybody. I lie. I cheat. I'm losing my pants in the seat. I'm the worst thing you've ever met, and I'm so sad that you've discovered it. When I was young, I was told by my dad, who knew something about jazz, that Count Basie didn't play the notes. He played the space between them. And everything is in the spaces. And we leave them blank for a reason. We live on elision. Because that's what it means when something, what isn't said, is more than something what is. Because we talk a lot. I talk all the time. And sometimes I rhyme. But do I ever say anything? I remember everything. Because I'm part elephant. Except know how to do the right thing. Or do what I want to do. I'm on cruise control up to 101 from Santa Barbara back to the city. And the road curves hella worse than the 5, which you don't even have to be alive to traverse. I'm in a corner of a bar with a shot of Fernet before me and a beer beside it, and a belief that through the intercession of these two devices, I can contrive a therapy to help me. Because I can't remember how to forget, but I want to. This is the last one. One more?
Yeah, a little shorty. Go ahead.
Okay.
Go.
I'll make a sticker that explains my heart, this ticker inside my chest. And I'll put that sticker on every pole up and down Valencia Street. People ask me how I feel, and I'll just point to the sticker on the pole, or I'll just point to the sticker on the parking meter, or I'll just point to the sticker on the box in the corner that makes the red lights turn yellow and then turn green. You know what I mean? That'd be a dream if I just had a sticker. But who can say where I'll be? I could be in India, which is far away and mighty, mighty big. And who knows if that sticker will be on the pole there where I would linger? How many poles are there in India? Probably more than Valencia Street, possibly more than Mission and Soma combined. And I would find that much stickering would be too much to do. So maybe instead I'll get a tattoo that I'll put on my chest where my heart should be. When people ask me how I feel, I'll take off my shirt and they will see how much exercise I haven't done, how much my skin needs more sun. So maybe no, a tattoo may not be the way to go. It'll have to be a sticker. So I have to get a bumper for the sticker to stick on. And I'll have to get a car for the bumper to bump for. And in the window of the car will hang a little stuffed Garfield that holds a little sign saying, hang in there. But if we have the Garfield, we don't need the sticker. So what I'm trying to say in my roundabout way is hang in there. And this ticker, sticker, no, keep ticking. Hanging in there. You hang in there too. Okay? Thank you.
Wow. Really good, Wow. Keep it out here. Right there, Brady. Woo! Hey!
Hard to pin down. So we're going to take a quick break. That machine will be off so you can talk to your heart's content, talk to your neighbors and friends. Next week, James Ellis.
Jimmy Sellers.
Jimmy. And then after that, on the 21st, Karen Melander Lagoon's taking some space. And then, coming up after the breaks, we have Chris, Al, Bill, Marvin, Yasmin, David E. is the mini, Bob, Mahida, Emma, who is new. We'll have to give her the big work there. We got Ed, Hal, and also Clara Sue. So we got a bunch of people coming up. Yay! Give yourself a round of applause. Take a break. We shall return to the commercial interruptions as we know them.
There you go. Good job.
Thanks for having me.
Oh, no, I mean, it's amazing. It's fun.
Hey, do you have somebody else on, or are you done
Huh?
tonight?
Yeah, let me just see here. Hold on a second.
Yeah.
Okay.
Dan.
Ben?
D-A-N.
Say again?
D-A-N. Daniel.
You're Dan?
Yes.
I'm Dan.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so Dan, no, it's probably going to be like shorter than
No
5
problem.
because we got that.
No
and
problem.
do you know that Thursday nights they have a music thing here?
Oh, I see. I didn't know that.
It's okay. We love musicians.
Oh, but it's all poetry today.
Mostly poetry, but we do have music. So
Okay, all right.
Thursday is mostly music, but we have poetry. So you're welcome. It's wonderful. But some people come in, they think
I
that this is
didn't know.
the.
Yeah. Okay.
Just want to let you know because he probably doesn't know.
How long that'll be? About an hour, 2 hours?
I would say 4 minutes. Oh, before you get there? Yeah, I'd say about 45 minutes. Yeah, you have time to go out and schmooze.
Would that be okay? On the other side.